This finally fight week for UFC 324 this weekend going down. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the main event. Finally, it's been forever since we last had a card. Oh my goodness, I was rewatching Alex Pereira versus Uncle Live 2 like a million times just to keep myself sane. But the wait is finally over. We're a couple days away from the weekend, and this fight for the main event, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, is a pretty good fight. Like, let's be honest, this is a pretty awesome matchup. It's just in context for a interim belt makes no sense. Both Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett do not deserve a title fight of any kind. But yeah, we're getting a interim belt between no Armin. Makes sense why no Armin. They do not want to risk a main event card against someone who pulled out of their last title fight exactly a year ago from now for the Paramount Plus deal. Like, this is the first card. They do not want any mess ups for the first card for the Paramount deal. So it makes sense why they do not want to include Armin. But yeah, it's still very stupid why these two are getting interim built. By the way, that's the timeline we're living in. By the way, this whole card is pretty awesome, amazing card. So it does make up for this not makes too much sense interim built fight. So this whole thing does make up for that. We got Umar versus Davidson out of the main card. That's how stacked this is. But realistically, they could have probably replaced a fight here and there for their main event spot, but they're here outside of it. But either way, um, let me stop rambling and let's go for the very first fight of not just of the card, not just of the year, but also for the Paramount deal. So this is the first fight ever. They could have done a better job doing this, but anyway, still pretty good fight. And Fugitt, he's what, like 2-3 right now in the UFC. He is how should I say, only lost to monsters. He lost to Michael Morales, he lost to Mike Malott, and he lost to that one German model, the Dula top guy. He's only lost to like these guys, and the Dula top guy is like 1-0 right now in the UFC. He's only made his debut, but and he obviously he beat this guy for his debut fight. But Dula top guy, I do think has like insane potential at welterweight. He seems like a Carlos Prates 2.0 when it comes to like him being a lanky fighter with crazy power. So I do think Dula top is gonna reach the ranking soon and be another monster. But yeah, Future has only been losing to these guys. But on the other hand, this guy did go to a split decision loss. No, split decision win against Josh Quinlan. And going to a split decision win against Josh Quinlan is a big no-no. That's just a huge tell of your skill level. But yeah, that's not looking too good for Fugitt. This Miller guy, on the other hand, he's coming straight out of the Contender Series. He is like another lanky, rangy fighter. It's just I don't think he's like another Morales, another Mike Mallet, another Dulatov. I do not think so. I don't think he's gonna be a monster at welterweight. He lacks power, which is a big thing. But and lacking in power, he does make up in speed. He does have some pretty good quick hands, quick 1-2s. Very impressive. It's just he does lacking power, but I don't know. I don't think he's that skilled as well. I don't think he's like an amazing striker or anything like that. You can say like an Izzy where he does lacking power in certain fights, and but he's just a very skilled fighter. I don't think so. I think he's like another generic kickboxer. I do not think his grappling is also like he excels in that. So I don't think he's gonna be like a big name at welterweight. I don't think so. He's gonna be like another name at welterweight. Probably touch the rankings, but like that's about it. Like he's probably fade out of it. But yeah, but this guy Miller, he's still pretty good enough to I think to be a Fugitt for his debut fight, and be the better striker, have better hands, quicker hands, better footwork. So I'm gonna go with Miller winning this by decision, being the better fighter and getting it done. So he's gonna get the first win of the Paramount Deal Plus card, Miller. Next up at bantamweight, we got Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman. Cameron Smotherman is a quite in top. He's quite a fighter. As in, I don't know how he's made it to the UFC. He did win his debut fight against Jake Hadley, and that win has aged like milk. Like Jake Hadley has been losing a lot even after the UFC. Aside from that, he is now on a 2-fight losing streak. He got outgrappled by his last two opponents by Ricky Simon, not Ricky Simon. And you remember in that fight, Ricky Simon was holding up against the cage and said, "You're under arrest" or like something like that. And Ricky Simon was like, "That's racist," It's pretty funny. I think Ricky Simon was the one who said it rather than watching it. But anyway, um, his striking is very weird. It's very like arm punchy. This is like a bantamweight, meaning his striking is not that good at bantamweight. Is like I don't know how that's possible. Like bantamweights in general, like even the arm ring bantamweights are like really good. It's a bantamweight, it's filled with like skilled fighters. I do not know how this guy, his striking is that bad. And also, he's getting out grappled by in his last two fights, meaning his striking is very not that good, and his grappling is not that good. I don't know where he trains out of. I don't know who his coaches are, but he needs a new or just more attention to. I don't know what is happening, but he needs more help. He's 28. He's still kind of young, but he needs a lot of improvement. Ricky Turcios, on the other hand, is very ass as well. He's not that good as well. Like he has no power. Um, horrible striking. He probably just has the grappling, and he almost subbed. What's his name? Chiwiwis. He almost subbed him. But the thing is, Chiwiwis is like 50% human, 50% monster, and so Chiwiwis has the genetics of like that monster chin to not get subbed. But yeah, Ricky Truccio got to his back, almost subbed him, didn't get it, and got subbed himself later in that fight. But it shows that he does have some good grappling because Chiwiwis himself is a pretty good grappler, and so that's a good sign for Trucios in that fight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Turcios slightly being the better fighter against Smotherman with that grappling. Probably gonna out grapple Smotherman for like 2 rounds, and then probably have like a close round in like the third with just striking or something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Turcios probably getting a close decision win against Smotherman, getting it done. Yeah, I got Turcios. Next up at heavyweight, we got Josh Hokit versus Freeman. This Josh Hokit dude, if you don't remember, he's like a Kobe Covington 2.0, where he's like the whole America thing, the whole MAGA thing. The thing is, he looks like Hispanic or like Middle Eastern, so it doesn't really fit him. He's like bit biting Kobe Covington. Kobe Covington was kind of entertaining when he was doing it. Being like a guy that you see at your local kebab shop or your local taqueria. I don't think it makes too much sense for him to be like Murica. It doesn't really fit him. You should find a new bit. It was funny when Kobe was doing it. It was funny when Sean Strickland was doing it, but not really when Hawk is doing it. You should find a new bit by my guy. Just saying. By the way, he's still very good. He's still very entertaining in the cage. He had a pretty good fight in his contender series fight and his debut fight. Two good fights from him. He's very athletic, very dynamic for a heavyweight. Compared to the average heavyweight, he's really good, and I think he has really good potential at heavyweight. Probably gonna reach the ranking soon. But yeah, he's pretty good at heavyweight. Freeman, on the other hand, he had a very boring fight in his debut fight against Fugitt. Very boring fight. It was like the most insignificant fight you could watch. It was just nothing really happened in that fight. Aside from that, it was, I mean, I would say he's kinda generic, he's not that I mean, I wanna say he has, like, really good he excels somewhere, like, his striking is really good or his grappling is oppressive, I don't wanna say that, and so for that reason, I'm gonna say Haki is much he's probably gonna win this fight, probably by first round, by the way, first round finish. I can see Haki taking down Freeman and getting a sub or not dropping him and getting, like, a ground and pound, but I'm going with Haki getting a first round finish. Just find a new bit, my guy, just find something else to be entertaining about. The whole America thing doesn't really fit you. I don't know if I'm being racist or not, but I'm just saying. Next up, lightweight to Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Now, at first, I was like, "Oh, Michael Johnson is probably gonna win this." He won his last fight against that one Hispanic guy. Forgot his name, but that guy was like an up and coming prospect. It was gonna be like another win for that guy up against Johnson, have a good big name. But no, Johnson won the fight, and we did pretty good. He's even though at 39, he's still very good. Much bigger than Hernandez, has that power difference. But the thing is, Hernandez in his last fight, the way he was fighting against Pereira was very, very good, and like in an interesting way. As in, he was circling a lot in like those 3 rounds. He was kept on circling, even when he was disengaging. He didn't disengage, go moving back in the back like in a straight line. He kept on flipping around and kept on circling. That is impressive for 3 rounds straight to do. I'm not accusing him of anything, but just saying that is quite impressive to have that type of gas tank. Now you can kind of say like Michael Johnson can probably land like a head kick if Hernandez is keep on circling, keep on slipping to the left and right. But that's like putting your eggs all in one basket. And I don't know if that's just like a smart game plan to have like Johnson like, oh, just land the head kick, land the head kick. It'll be more smarter for him just to keep it simple, strike with Hernandez. But the thing is, Hernandez is going to be circling a lot, so it's going to be really hard for Johnson to find the target on a moving target like Hernandez. And Hernandez has better footwork, is much more quicker as well on the feet. It's gonna be very hard for Johnson to land like that, like KO like punch on Hernandez. And if Hernandez is smart, he's gonna keep that up for like the first round up until the second round, and then in the third round start to actually be aggressive, start to be more aggressive in the striking, and flip a counter, circle, keep on circling. And while Johnson, he keeps on going forward, he's more gassed, more tired, more slower. Hernandez is gonna slip again, find that opening, drop Johnson, and either ground and pound finish or submission. That'll be smart for Hernandez to do, and I wouldn't say that's too out of the realm for Hernandez to actually do um in this fight. So I'm gonna go with Hernandez getting a decision win, if not getting a finish in the third round. So I'm gonna go with Hernandez winning this fight between these. Now onto the prelims, we got flyweight Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Now this is a good fight. This is gonna be a pretty good fight. Alex Perez, it sucks for him. He's only been getting grapplers. Up until like the Figgy fight when he fought for the belt. Grappler. Alexander Pantoja grappler. Mazur Evloev grappler. Kaisa Kurika grappler, and then the last guy he fought was also a grappler. I forget his name. He's been getting a lot of grapplers, and the last guy and the only guy he fought since those fights was like I forgot his name. Let me check. But like the last guy he fought that wasn't a grappler, that was a striker. He lost to Amabai by sub. Grappler. Mattel Nicolau, that guy. He isn't a grappler, he's a striker, and Perez was able to chin him. It was kind of a situation where Nicolau was back, like circling against the cage, and so that gave Perez the opening to land a right hand, while Perez was, I mean, when Nicolau was circling to his left, giving him an opening to land that and chin him. The thing is, Charles Johnson is much bigger than Perez, meaning it's gonna be really hard for Perez to land that one hitter quitter, you can say, against Charles Johnson. But the thing is, Charles Johnson, he kind of struggles using his range. Like he is rangy for bantamweight. It's just he kind of gets into like firefights, especially at close range, and he just doesn't like use his range at all like that well. Like he does use it, but it's like not that good. Like he would prefer like uppercuts and hooks, at a shorter range rather than keep like a kickboxing distance type of fight, which it would be really good for Johnson to fight like that. It's just he doesn't really do that. So I mean, it's gonna be a close fight because Alex Perez, he is pretty good, even though he's been losing a lot. Still pretty good. Charles Johnson, he kind of went from like a little bit going being underrated to being slightly overrated just because of that win over Joshua Van. I don't think he's like that good, just because of the win over Joshua Van. But he's still pretty good. He has he won his last fight against Loner Kavanaugh. But aside from that, he does have power, but it's gonna be kind of hard to say Charles Johnson like clears Perez. Perez is still pretty good. Perez is 33. He's slightly younger than Charles Johnson. But I'm gonna say on the judges, I feel like Johnson is probably gonna win because this is gonna be a close fight. But Charles Johnson, like I said, is aggressive. He doesn't use his range well, and so he does be on the front foot like a lot. He does try to like hunt down his opponent. So I feel like for the judges, even though it's gonna be a close fight, I can feel like Johnson's probably gonna also drop Perez, like around like the second round, the third round, kind of drop him. Perez is gonna be able to get back up. I feel like because of that, I feel like Johnson's gonna like edge out a win just by being more aggressive and by probably like dropping Perez like once or twice in the fight. And yeah, I feel like Johnson's gonna win like a close decision win. So I gotta go Johnson winning getting another keeping up his winning streak and probably rematch Van soon. Because Joshua Van, I mean, Charles Johnson has that motivation to keep on fighting and keep on getting wins to get that rematch against Joshua Van, who's now champ. Charles Johnson's like, oh, I beat that guy, and he's now champ. Let me keep on grinding and get a win in order to get back into a rematch for that. While Alex Perez has been losing a lot, even though it's because of the grappling, he's been losing a lot. It is demoralizing losing. Like even though you like, doesn't matter if you lose or like how you lose. Losing is still losing, and it is you say that Alex Perez is kind of demoralized and is probably just fighting for a paycheck at now. So you can probably say like morally, motivation wise, Charles Johnson probably is more motivated to keep on winning. So you can also say that for Charles Johnson. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Charles Johnson getting a decision. Next up at light heavy, we got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. Anyways, Nikita Krylov, obviously way more skilled than Bukauskas. Obviously, way more skilled, has fought harder comp, better fighter overall. It's just even though they're like 2 years apart, look at Modiscus. He's 31. He looks amazing. I wish I aged like that. I aged like wine. Probably not. Probably gonna look like Nikita Krylov when I'm 30 something, 33. Nikita Krylov looks like he's 40. Like you can see the wear and tear on Nikita Krylov. He looks way more older than being at 33. And that's because of all the damage he's been taking. He's now on a 2-fight losing streak by KO. And that's usually because Krylov was hunting down Reyes. He was hunting down Bogdan. And that's how Reyes and Bogdan were able to find the opening on Krylov. Krylov was going into a straight line into the range. Boom, just lands that overhand left for Reyes, overhand right for Bogdan. But yeah, they're both are heavy hitters. You can probably say Bogdan hits just as hard as Alex Pereira. You can make that argument. Bogdan was able to drop Jan, even though Jan was much older when he fought Bogdan. Then when he fought Alex Pereira, Alex Pereira couldn't drop John. He landed like flush or like hooks. Um, Krylov, he needs to be way more smarter in this fight if he wants to win. Like even though he's aged a lot when it comes to his wear and tear, he's still 33. Like he's still very good. Obviously, way more better than Mandiscus Bukauskas. Bukauskas is only really has that power. He's not like a good striker. He's not like a good grappler. He's like average, but he has that power to back up his skill and get some wins. But he's been losing to like dudes that wouldn't even touch Krylov in a fight. Like Krylov would destroy the guys Bukauskas has been losing his career. But this is a Krylov who's been chinned left and right. Bukauskas has the power, so there is that chance he could find the opening. But if Krylov is smart and patient and not hunting down Bukauskas, he probably could win this, getting a decision win. Just fighting like another rangy kickboxer, like fighting like that. He has really good kicks. Krylov, his kicks are really good. He's very active with those kicks. Uh, it's just he needs to be more patient. Like he can't be hunting down Bukauskas and probably get chinned once again. Three KOs in a row is really stupid. So I doubt he's gonna be just as aggressive as he was against Reyes and Bogdan. And even in that Reyes fight, he looked very ring rusted as well. He looked very ring rusted because if you compare his performance against Reyes against Bogdan, he looked way more better against Bogdan. Bogdan was looking like not that good against Krylov. They looked like a good back and forth between them until the KO. But like either way, Krylov needs to be patient, and he could easily outskill Bukauskas at range, or just grappling as well. He can outgrapple Bukauskas and probably get the submission. But I'm gonna go with Krylov getting it done. Probably submitting Bukauskas if he wants to. So I'm gonna go with a third round submission for Krylov. Yeah, I feel like he could probably close that distance when it comes to like in the later rounds and take him down and get a submission. So I'm going with Krylov getting it done, winning fight. Next up at middleweight, we got Ateba Gautier versus Andre Pulyaev. Ateba Gautier. Yeah, they have like French last names, right? These dudes, Camerons. But anyways, this is a step up, but not a big step up. There's like a baby step into the into what's it called, difficulty. And yeah, because Alteba has only been fighting cans, just straight up, just dudes who are not good at all. His last fight was literally someone who made his debut on short notice, and so it's Alteba. Obviously, Alteba's gonna look like a monster in front of these guys. The thing about Alteba is, even though he has like raw KO power, usually when fighters have like raw KO power, their skill is not that high. Like their striking isn't that good. That's because they rely on their power. But the thing is, Ateba Gautier actually has like good skill. Like he uses the jab to set up his distance. I mean, to gauge the distance to set up his 1-2, set up the uppercuts and hooks. He has a good fundamentals when it comes to his striking, and so that is a pretty good thing for Ateba Gautier, especially if he wins this win. If he wins this fight, um, harder matchups. I don't think he's gonna struggle in the striking at all. Get outskilled in the striking because he relies on his power. His grappling, on the other hand, is kind of that's still the question of how good that grappling is. And Andrei Pulyaev is a Russian, and he has that like the Dagestani Caucasus mountain region look to him. But I don't know how good his grappling is. I don't think he's a grappler, especially because he doesn't really grapple in his fights. I mean, he only strikes. He was like running away from the Christian Leroy Duncan as well in that fight. That's why he managed to survive 3 rounds with the Christian Leroy Duncan. I did predict Christian Leroy Duncan to be Marco Tulio. By the way, I was one of the few people who predict that. But anyways, he was able to survive against Christian Leroy Duncan because he was just running away from the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he's running away from Ateba Gautier for 3 rounds straight, and that's Ateba Gautier's first decision win in the UFC. But either way, Ateba Gautier probably has better striking than Christian Leroy Duncan. I wouldn't be surprised if Ateba Gautier has better striking than him. And with that power, he could probably get it done on the feet. But if it comes to the grappling, I would say in the grappling, I don't think Pulyaev is like a Dagestani wrestler. He's probably like an Ankalaev, where Ankalaev is more of a kickboxer, and his grappling is okay. Just there to just be there, just to use it if he needs to grapple. I'm gonna say Pulyaev is probably the same type of fighter where he has grappling, but it's not like a dominant type of grappling. It's just he just has it. And the thing is, Ateba Gautier is huge at middleweight, like a huge specimen. I don't know how he makes 185. I'm something like Joe Rogan talking about Xperia. I don't know how Ateba Gautier makes 185. He looks like a light heavyweight, borderline heavyweight at middleweight, and I feel like he can muscle his way to defend a Pulyev's takedowns. If Pulyaev goes for a takedown, I can feel like he can muscle his way out of it. He got on top and probably land ground and pound. That's what I got. I'm gonna go with Atabe Gautier getting either a KO finish in the first round or or land on top and or either reverse a Pulyaev just by straight up muscling him and landing that ground and pound finish. But I'm gonna go with first round finish by Atabe Gautier. Bantamweight Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davidson Figueiredo. This is an awesome matchup. But the thing is, I generally do think we're not gonna see like very little striking between these two, very little exchanges on the feet, because Umar he's aware of Davidson Figueiredo's power. Davidson is aware of Umar's takedowns, meaning Umar is not gonna try to engage with Davidson Figueiredo on the feet, knowing he could get chinned, and Davidson is not gonna exchange against Umar, knowing down low. If you're aggressive, if you're aggressive on the striking, that makes it easier for your opponent to take you down. So I generally do think because both of those guys are aware of each other's like skill set, we're gonna see very little striking between the two. Just see mostly grappling. And I feel like because Umar is way more bigger than Davidson Figueiredo, way more bigger. You know, Figueiredo was a flyweight. Umar is way more bigger. He's gonna get the takedown. I don't think so. If it's gonna be a single leg, double leg, judo trip, whatever, Horigoshi Naganama, whatever you want, kind of gay Japanese name you want to add to it. Um, Umar is gonna get it done. He's gonna take him down. Now, could Davidson reverse Umar? Probably. He could probably do a pretty good job reversing. But I feel like Umar's gonna quickly get back on top of it once again. Like, gonna just keep on holding down Figgy for like 3 rounds straight. I feel like. Um, yeah, that's what I got. And especially because Umar got chin in his last fight. Well, not chin. He got dropped against Mario Barrios. Not what the fuck did I just say? Mario Barrios, Mario Bautista. I'm just being racist at this point. But anyways, uh, Umar is gonna be way more, it's not gonna be gonna be more patient on the feet and not be more wary of the getting dropped. So he's gonna be way more grappling, heavy focus in this fight. It will make more sense. And can Figgy find the submission? Probably, but I don't think so. I feel like that's like a low chance. Another another putting your eggs all in one basket, trying to think Figgy can get submission. Actually, no. It's a okay chance for Figgy to get the sub. I'm just gonna say with Umar just being a good grappler of his own, especially now adding the size that difference. I'm gonna go with Umar getting a decision win just by winning by control time. I don't not think he could sub Figgy. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he can. Maybe he can sub Figgy, but I don't think so. But I'm gonna go with Umar getting it done um, by decision. Next up, we got featherweight Arnold Allen versus John Silva. This is a good fight. Another good fight. Can't wait for this one. Arnold Allen, John Silva. It's not, I want to say it's that surprising to say Arnold Allen is way more skilled than John Silva and Diego Lopez. Way more skilled than those two fighters. Arnold Allen did a pretty good job against Mosbar Evluev. He was able to defend his grappling. It was a kind of close fight in the striking. Which is not a good tell actually. Which is not good. Going into a striking battle against Mosbar Evluev. I mean, Arnold Allen was getting the better of Evluev for sure. It's just he has pillow punches. And because he has pillow punches, that they gave Ivlev the ability to keep on pushing forward in the striking and make it a little bit make it like dirty and make it a close fight. And you can borderline say Arnold Allen won the fight, which I wouldn't really disagree with you. I could say Arnold Allen won that fight. He still went to a close decision in the striking against Arnold Mosbar Evlev, which is not good. Um, Good takedown defense. But the thing is, I don't know how good his offense is in the grappling. If he could take down a John Silva, and yes, John Silva got taken down by Diego Lopez. Thing is, I mean, in that fight, John Silva went for a spinning back kick, and Diego Lopez took advantage of it. It wasn't because Diego Lopez, went for like a one. He painted a one, like a one, went to single leg, double leg exchange. Went to his back, went for a for a chip and got the bag. It wasn't like that. It was just John Silva making a big mistake on that fight, and Arnold Allen took advantage of it. I mean, Diego Lopez took advantage of it, and even then, after a while, John Silva was able to get back up and beat the shit out of Diego Lopez by the end of the first round, even into the second round. He was beating the shit out of Diego Lopez for like the first half of the second round. And the thing is, Diego Lopez has like a blockhead, meaning he was able to tank all of John Silva's power, all of his striking, was able to tank it all. And then he was getting chased by John Silva, and then Diego Lopez obviously went for that spinning out back elbow and dropped John Silva and finished it with ground and pound. But that spinning back elbow would have dropped prime Max Holloway. Just saying that nobody surviving a spinning back elbow flush to the face, like to the chin, to the temple, whatever. I don't think there's any fighter out there that survived the spinning back elbow in the UFC, like a flush one landing. But yeah, of course, John Silva got finished by that. I don't know if Arnold Allen has that type of like power or tool set, and I don't think he's gonna like is he gonna land another spinning back elbow on John Silva? Like hell no. And he's not gonna finish John Silva at all with like his striking or anything like that. Maybe a doctor stoppage, he lands like an elbow or a knee on John Silva while John Silva's coming in, and John Silva's like cut open badly, and then a doctor stoppage is done. I don't see Arnold Allen chinning John Silva at all, but he can get a finish like that. But to do that, I don't know. It's like it's another situation where you're putting your eggs all in one basket, hoping to win by doctor stoppage. Like doctor stoppage rarely happen in the UFC. It's such a low chance for Arnold Allen to do that, so I don't think so. And in the grappling, offensive grappling, John Silva is still really good at defensive. He still has pretty good takedown defense. Arnold Allen, how good he is on his offensive grappling is a question. Against John Silva, like I said, that was a big mistake on his end against Diego Lopez. I don't know. I don't trust Arnold Allen taking down John Silva like that and just ragdolling him. I don't think so. And then when you put two and two together, Arnold Allen has no power. John Silva does, and John Silva was beating the shit out of Diego Lopez. Probably gonna beat the shit out of Arnold Allen. Just saying. So stylistically, this is a John Silva win in my opinion. Now I know a lot of people do not like John Silva, not just because he's annoying or barks a lot, but because he said some made some political statements. This is not politics, okay? This is MMA. This is fighting. Nobody gives it like this. Politics should not play a factor in MMA. Maybe religion does. In my opinion, religion does play a factor, but politics does not. John Silva is gonna beat Arnold Allen. I would prefer Arnold Allen to win. Listen, I would prefer Arnold Allen to win, but John Silva is probably gonna win this. So that's what I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna win John Silva. Next up, we got women's flyweight Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Two baddies. Well, one former baddie. Rose Namajunas, kind of has a new look to her. But anyways, Natalia Silva on the other hand, yeah, Natalia Silva. You doing anything after this weekend? You're free. But anyways, I'm gonna win Natalia Silva. I do think she's much better, or slightly better. I want to say much better, slightly better. Rose Namajunas was champ, but Natalia Silva, I do think she has champ potential. She has a pretty good chance of becoming a champ at flyweight. Meaning, just because Rose was champ and Natalia wasn't champ, then Rose is gonna beat her, and I don't think so. Um, I'm going with Natalia Silva. I think she's better everywhere. And yeah, she's on the winning streak. I don't know if she's undefeated, right? Oh no, she's lost 5 times. But I think she's undefeated in the UFC, right? Let me check. Yep. She is yes, undefeated in the UFC. She's only lost in regional, where that's where you want to lose. But yeah, I'm gonna win Natalia Silva. Next up, heavyweight Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Banger, another banger. 50-50 fight, by the way. This is like the epitome of a 50-50 fight, especially at heavyweight where, two guys have power, could chin each other. I don't think we ever seen Waldo Cortez Acosta get a chin, but we have seen Derek Lewis get chinned. So there's that. Waldo Cortez Acosta is active, and that's good in heavyweight because being active in like light heavyweight and below, you're doing a weight cut like 4 or 5 times a year. That hurts you a lot. We've seen that hurt Alex Pereira. We've seen that hurt Marab. But at heavyweight, you're not weight cutting. So obviously, look at these guys. These guys are not weight cutting at all. This was me like during Christmas, by the way. These guys are not weight cutting. So meaning that's not gonna hurt Walter Costa being active, and he did lose like twice, but it wasn't because of KOs or anything like that. He didn't take any damage like that against Sergey Pavlovich, and that's a good sign as well. Losing to Sergey Pavlovich by decision, meaning you're not getting dropped, you're not getting KO'd, and you're able to survive his power. Stay away from it. That's a good sign for Walter Costa, and he has better footwork than Derek Lewis, but has better striking than Derek Lewis, better timing, I would say. Um, and he's younger, meaning he has that better fast switch muscles, that better reaction time. It wouldn't be crazy to say Walker is going to win this, but the thing is, this is heavyweight, and this is 50-50 fight. Derek Lewis also has the power. He could easily chin Waldo Cortez Acosta in the first round. It wouldn't be surprising. And this goes into the late rounds. I would probably favor Waldo Cortez Acosta way more. It would be like a 60-40 fight for Waldo Cortez Acosta, and like in the second and then the third rounds going to be like 70-30 for Waldo Cortez Acosta. But yeah, this is like the epitome of like anything could happen as heavyweight MMA. Uh, it's just hard. But for name value, I would rather prefer Bukauskas Acosta to win and have a new name near the title fight conversation. Because Derek Lewis has been there and got sub at the DC in the second round. Like we don't, I don't know. Like it doesn't like does it hurt heavyweight MMA if we've seen someone who lost to a champ even at 40, make his way up in the rankings and fight for a title again? That would be a bad visual for heavyweight MMA. It would make more sense for Bukauskas to want to win and have a new name, show that heavyweight MMA is evolving. Because Derek Lewis has been there for like a long time. And also, let me just go on a little Derek Lewis rant. People say that he's the hardest hitter in heavyweight or hits harder than Ngannou. Hell no. He does not hit harder than Ngannou. When Ngannou was, he dropped Stipe, Kane, Rosenstrike, what's his name, Uberi, whoever. These guys were going limp. Like they were like on the ground, like hitting that Peter Griffin pose. These guys were like they were not getting back up. They were like going to sleep for like a long time. Derek Lewis, I would say like 90% of his KOs, he has a lot of KOs. 90% of them are from being a grappling exchange. Derek Lewis gets top control and he lands ground and pound finish. That's like 90% of his KOs. Okay, he is not dropping these guys on the ground like Ngannou was doing on the feet. I mean, he was not doing that. And even when he does, the only one I could think of that he did it like that was Curtis Blades. Aside from everybody else, he drops them and they're still getting back up, and he needs to finish by ground and pound. That's like the other like 9% of his KOs. This dude is not. He is not dropping these guys dead on the ground. I never understood the whole Derek Lewis hits harder than Ngannou conversation. Just because he's way more KOs than Ngannou, like that means anything anyways. Ngannou was putting these guys to sleep and like just making them go limp. Derek Lewis was dropping them. They would still be getting back up. If it wasn't for ground and pound, they will get back up. Just saying. So no, Derek Lewis does not hit harder than Ngannou. Look at his fights. Look at how many times it happens like that, where they're not going out like limp like that. But anyways, Paulo Cortez Acosta, I'm gonna go with him. I think he's gonna be the quicker guy. Um, this is heavyweight, like I said, it's 50-50, but I'm gonna go with Paulo Cortez Acosta. Those like little advantages that Paulo Cortez Acosta is gonna help him, of course. This is not totally an unskilled division where it's always 50-50. Skill does matter to a certain extent and at heavyweight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Paulo Cortez Acosta. For first round KO, maybe. I'm gonna go with the first round KO. Co-main event, bantamweight, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Now, this is another good fight. This is the best fight of the card, you can easily say. Wait, my throat. But anyways, Song Yadong is coming into his prime. He's 28. He's been fighting in the UFC for a little while. He was pretty young, meaning of course he's gonna struggle earlier in his career. But now he's doing a good attempt trying to fight for a belt soon. Who was his last fight against Henry Cejudo, which is not aged that well. Peyton Silva did beat him, but I also predicted Peyton Silva to beat him. It's just I don't know. It's hard for me to trust Song Yadong to beat someone like Sean O'Malley when we've seen him fight someone like Corey Sandhagen and get dominated easily. Corey Sandhagen is not even a better. Oh, you could probably say Corey Sandhagen is a better fighter, a better mixed martial artist than Sean O'Malley, but not a better striker for sure. Sean O'Malley has better striking, easily better striking than Corey Sandhagen, and more raw power, KO power as well. I don't remember the last time we ever seen Corey Sandhagen get a KO like that. That's not a good sign for Song Yadong. Getting into like a fight like someone who fights exactly like the guy you lost to badly. It was a doctor stoppage. Chinese people, Chinese fighters, Korean fighters, not really Japanese fighters, but Korean and Chinese, they have amazing chins. They have like that square head archetype like Diego Lopez, and they're able to take a lot of damage. It's just something that was able to take all the damage from Corey Sandhagen and lost via doctor stoppage or corner stoppage, something like that. But the thing is, O'Malley has the ability to put the lights out for Song Yadong, and so he's just I can't really trust him. And also, they did pretty good against Peter Yan, both of them. It wasn't like Peter Yan dominated each fighter. You can borderline. I mean, O'Malley did win against Peter Yan, but you can easily argue Peter Yan won that, which I would also agree with. But oh, Song Yadong is not Peter Yan or Marab. He can study from the grappling of Marab in the second fight. He can study from the grappling of Peter Yan and his fight against O'Malley. But the thing is, Does not have better grappling than those guys, or like the better cardio or the such. John O'Malley was still landing pretty nasty shots on Marab in the first fight and against Peter Yan. Stylistically, O'Malley's much longer, much bigger, has power. He's 31. He's like not even 32, 33, where like you kind of like started like slowly phasing out of your prime. He's in his prime. O'Malley, Song is going into his prime. I'm gonna go with O'Malley. I feel like he has a pretty good chance chinning Song Yadong, beating the shit out of him in the first round to the second, and then getting a finish in the third, probably. Just wearing him down for 2 rounds straight. It's gonna be a close fight. I do think Song Yadong has like the aggressive ability to like close the distance and make it a dogfight. But when you're brawling, you do make yourself more exposed because you're not keeping it tight. You're striking, technical, keeping it at range, trying to make O'Malley miss. Such when you're brawling, you make yourself very open, and I don't know if you can do that against O'Malley. If he sees that he sees you coming in, kind of like O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. Peter Yan wasn't brawling, and he was fighting O'Malley, so Song Yadong has to change some things up, and even if he does, I don't know if he's able to catch up against Marab and Yan to be able to beat someone like O'Malley. So I'm going with O'Malley getting it done. Third round finish. Lightweight main event title fight for the interim belt. Just in case you're paying. Both of these guys do not deserve a jack shit type of belt, but here we are. But this is an amazing fight either way. Just look at it for what it is. This is an awesome fight, awesome matchup. Uh, Let me just be clear. Even though Justin Gaethje is 37 and he's slightly smaller than Paddy Pimblett, stylistically, he should beat the shit out of Paddy Pimblett. He should destroy Paddy Pimblett in a fight. Stylistically, Paddy Pimblett, the way he fights, he walks into range, no head movement, and his takedowns are not that good. His grappling is perfect. His takedowns are not that good. Justin Gaethje looks down, those overhands, also goes for step backs counters, which will be perfect for someone who doesn't move his head just to land those counters. He should hurt Paddy Pimblett badly, especially because Justin Gaethje hits like a truck. He almost finished Fiziev in his fight and his rematch. Was the first to drop Max Holloway in their fight. Was the first one at lightweight. There's a much heavier, better chin Max Holloway, and he dropped him. Of course, Max Holloway got dropped by Ilya and Dustin Poirier after that, but he was the first one to do it. Justin Gaethje still hits very hard. Paddy has a good chin, but I don't know if he has a good chin against Tony Ferguson, against Michael Chandler. These guys who to this day is still much older than Justin Gaethje when Michael Chandler fought Paddy Pimblett. Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is even a heavy hitter and was making Paddy bloody from the face. Tony Ferguson does not hit like that, and Paddy Pimblett was getting hurt and went to the decision with him. So Justin Gaethje low-key should beat the shit out of Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett's slightly bigger. Have you seen their face-off? He's slightly taller, slightly more thicker. People were saying, even I saw like a post saying like, "Oh, Paddy Pimblett looks like a welterweight." Before his fight, who also looks like a welterweight outside of camp? Justin Gaethje. Like I don't know where that. Like it's always so dumb. Like people like just to gas up like these certain things. Like also when the Charles Oliveira when he was fighting Ilya, they're saying, look at the size difference between Charles and Chiwiwis and Ilya. Like, do people be saying like dumb shit that doesn't like matter, like in the grand scheme of things? Really, because Max Holloway, I mean, Ilya fought Max Holloway, who's slightly taller than Charles Oliveira, which was really dumb narrative back then. But either way, Justin Gaethje fought Khabib, who's huge, fought Charles Oliveira, who fights similarly like Pimblett, but Charles Oliveira is like way more better than Paddy Pimblett and everything. Like he's a way more better grappler, way more better striker. Um, and yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know. I just can't see Justin Gaethje losing to Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje did lose to Charles Oliveira, but like I said, Paddy Pimblett does not even touch prime Oliveira at all. He does not do that. Anyways, stylistically, he should win. The only reason you wouldn't even pick Paddy Pimblett to win this is because of the age difference, and because he's slightly bigger, and because of aura, the vibes. He has plot armor. That's the only reason you wouldn't even pick Pimblett rather than actually being better than Justin Gaethje. Like, you just think about that. You're picking him not because he's better than Justin Gaethje. Like, that's not a good sign. Especially because listen. Say one thing about Paddy Pimblett's career that is impressive. outside of the fact that he is entertaining outside the cage. You really can't. You can't say, "Oh, it was impressive that he beat Tony Ferguson. It was impressive that he beat 38-year-old Michael Chandler, who was inactive for like 2 years and lost to Charles Oliveira." You can't say it's impressive. You can't say it's impressive that Bobby Green went for a single leg on him and he got the submission. You can't say that's impressive. You can't say him losing to Jared Gordon is impressive. You can't say that. Like, look, to this day, Paddy Pimblett's career really is not good at all. Like it's just not good. Justin Gaethje has been fighting monsters. Dustin Poirier, Fiziev is kind of okay, but and you can even make an argument. Fiziev probably beats Paddy Pimblett. Just saying, you can make an argument like that. Like you can say Fiziev, Paddy Pimblett are like a close fight, but if not, Fiziev is slightly better than him. Justin Gaethje has been fighting Max Holloway, prime Max Holloway with power. He's been fighting obviously Charles, prime Khabib. It's just I don't know. Like there's no way in my brain I could pick Paddy Pimblett aside from vibes, saying like, oh, he has that plot armor. I can't really pick him. Especially I can't pick him knowing damn well Justin Gaethje stylistically is way like it's like there's a lock win Gaethje in his prime. Right now he's 37, which does play a factor. But either way, he's still got to win. He's still got to win his last fight. And the only reason people are saying he's washed is because instead of fighting for the belt after beating Dustin Poirier, which he should have, he took that Max Holloway fight and got schooled. That's just taking away the win away from Max and just saying, "Oh, Justin Gaethje is out of his prime." You're just doing that instead of actually giving props to Max Holloway, saying you beat a scary Justin Gaethje, and then Justin Gaethje got a win after that. Like, and probably had a better performance against Fiziev in the rematch. Makes no like I just don't like it's I feel like people are like running into the narratives more rather than the actual what's happening. Justin Gaethje is old. He's out of his prime. Paddy Pimblett is in his prime. He's slightly bigger, and rather than actually looking at how they fight and who they fought and where and what, if Paddy Pimblett wins, I'm gonna go with my sinking boat, picking Justin Gaethje winning. If Paddy Pimblett wins, I don't mind. I don't mind. I just would hate picking Paddy Pimblett, knowing I think Justin Gaethje is gonna win. And if Justin Gaethje wins, I'm gonna be like, what the like? Why did I pick Paddy Pimblett? Knowing in the back of my mind, I know Justin Gaethje has the tools to beat Paddy Pimblett. I'm gonna go with Justin Gaethje. Even if he loses, I'm gonna go with my sinking boat and be wrong. I would much rather be wrong than pick Paddy Pimblett and be wrong. I'm gonna go with Justin Gaethje. Yeah. Hope that makes sense as well. Like I don't know if I said something that doesn't make any sense. It's just like and it's like contrary to like the truth. But let me know why I'm wrong. Have a smart conversation with me rather than being like you're wrong because Patty is cool. Like you just be like gay. Don't be gay. Like be smart. So thank you guys for watching. You came this far. Like and subscribe. Hope you like my picks. If not, tell me why in a smart way. And goodbye.